Mutineers celebrate on the streets of Ivory Coast. Days after their revolt, the government agreed to a peace deal.
En vue d'éviter tout enlisement et plus d'endeuillement de famille, l'état-major général des armées a entrepris des échanges avec les soldats hier, dimanche 14 mai, et ce lundi 15 mai 2017. À l'issue de ces échanges, un accord a été trouvé sur les modalités de sortie de crise.
The mutiny began on Friday after soldiers seized the second largest city. They were demanding unpaid bonuses.
On n'a pas envie de désobéir à Alassane Ouattara. On veut travailler lui. Mais s'il a envie de travailler nous là, il ne faut pas qu'il va écouter les ministres salauds qui sont à côté de lui.
The uprising caught the government by surprise, possibly because of who carried it out. The culprits were the same rebels who brought President Alassane Ouattara to power. Ivory Coast was once a beacon of stability in Western Africa, until civil war broke out in 2002. State institutions were decimated, leaving a dangerous power vacuum. Hardest hit was the security apparatus, opening the door for groups like Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb. The terror group has carried out a wave of attacks in recent years, leaving dozens dead.
Je confirme mon accord.
But in 2011, President Alassane Ouattara rode to victory with the help of his rebel army, ending a decade of bloodshed. Thousands of those men now make up a significant part of Ivory Coast's military. But their show of disloyalty has revealed cracks in the state, where threat of another coup remains a reality. Ali Mustafa, the Newsmakers.
Well, to discuss the fractures in Ivory Coast military, I'm joined from Washington by Nyaka Lagoke. He's the president of the Revival of Pan-Africanism Forum. And from Abidjan, the economic hub of Ivory Coast, is Arsène Brice Bado. He's a political analyst and the deputy director at the Institute for Dignity and Human Rights. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. Dr. Nyaka Lagoke, let me start with you. So we've had a peaceful resolution. Is this done? Will we not see this happen again?
Thank you very much for the opportunity that you're giving me, and your question make me laugh. Of course, you know that it is not going to be the end. It is just another episode, and then because there are various groups in the army, the one that just finished that mutiny is composed of 8,400 soldiers, and a few days ago, before that group, there was another group composed of 6,500. And then we know, for instance, that in January, the special forces in Ivory Coast, they also did a mutiny, and then they received the bonuses. So there are other groups that will be coming, and it's just another episode that we see.
Okay, so Arsène, I'm trying to do the mathematics here. I'm not a mathematician. So 22,000 strong army, 8,400 mutineers now, and as Nyaka mentioned, 6,500 before, plus special forces. That means it's more than half of the army has been unhappy in recent times, and he believes this is probably just the beginning or just another episode. Do you agree?
Yes, I do agree. I hope that it will be the end, but what we have to know is that there is a discontentment within the army. As he has pointed, although the former rebel army has been integrated to the national army, it seems like they still are two different or many different armies with different advantages, different bonuses. So this raises some issues for the future of the army.
Yeah,
and we may
questions.
witness some discontentment in the future.
Okay, so they were loyal to Ouattara, right, Nyaka? They were loyal to Ouattara. They brought him to power. He didn't give them the money that they were promised. There's a sense of betrayal, I guess. So he's paid them now, and he said, here's your money. We're cool. What else does he need to do in order to keep these mutineers from mutinying again?
It's a very beautiful question. But like I said again, he just paid not as I will not say a small portion. He just paid a group of soldiers in the army. There were and there are many other groups in the army that even did the mutiny in January 2017 and who did not receive the bonuses they were fighting for. So in other words, like Brice said, there is a strong discontentment like in the army. And as the country is facing some financial difficulties, by giving money to one group and then it means that you are frustrating another group that you haven't paid or that you need to pay. So in other words, it does not matter what Mr. Ouattara has done to try and diffuse the current mutiny. I believe that there will be more groups coming out, or even if it is not in the army, it will be from the civil society because the unions are on strike. And then Mr. Ouattara asked them to forget about the bonuses they've been asking for. And the government of Ouattara did not even want to meet with them. It is when the mutiny started in January, then he gave the order to his prime minister, to sit down and meet, with the civil servants.
Yeah. So, Arsene Brice, with all of that, I mean, that sounds really negative and pessimistic, right? So, if not a coup, then maybe some sort of uprising and possibly a revolution. Has it really come to that, Arsene Brice?
No, I really don't think that these soldiers want to do a coup. In fact, as you know, Ouattara is, let us say, they know that Ouattara needs their support. And I think that they will get a better treatment with Ouattara than with any other president. So I don't think that these soldiers want, to overthrow the regime. What they want to take the advantage to get, more bonuses, to get the payment during the last term of President Ouattara presidency.
Okay, so Nyaka, it's not just about money.
Yes.
I mean, no, he's saying it's only about money. You're saying it's not just about money. Tell me why you disagree with him.
It's not just about money. It's not just about money because, like you said, in your introduction, you used a word that made me smile. Those soldiers, many of them, they felt betrayed by Mr. Ouattara. Many of them died when they were fighting against, the army, and they had to wait for 6 good years. For them to receive, the money that Ouattara promised them when he struck a deal with them way before he came to power. Yeah. So they waited, and then in the context of bad governance, in the context of money embezzlement. But now, we know also that Mr. Ouattara changed the constitution last year in October 2016, and then he wants to eliminate the current Speaker of the House, Sorogium, from the battle of succession, because he does not want Sorogium, and we know Sorogium was the one who ruled the rebellion, who is the one who was the official representative of the rebellion on behalf of Mr. Ouattara.
Okay.
And this guy has many soldiers who support him. So sooner or later, we may see a real fight between the soldiers loyal to Ouattara and the soldiers who are loyal to Sorogium. So this can lead to a civil war or to a coup.
Okay, so that's a good point. And you're mentioning civil war. I didn't want to mention civil war, and we hope it never comes to that again. Let's talk a little bit about what happens next and how the government deals with this delicate situation. Let's listen to what the Defense Minister, Alain Richard Donroy, said very recently. Take a little listen.
Will people be punished for what has been done? There have been deaths, and there are definitely people who are guilty. We have called for investigations and that disciplinary measures be taken against all those who are guilty of offences.
Okay, so these guys are being paid, but then they're also being punished, or at least some of them are being punished. Now, this is interesting, Arsene, because tell me, Arsene Brice, how do you find that balance between paying these mutineers and also punishing those responsible for the mutiny, and finding that right balance so that you can ensure that this doesn't happen again?
Yes, I don't think that there will be really punishment because as we said, things are very complicated. And to be able to punish, we have to be able to be on top. And right now, there is we don't know exactly who is in charge, I mean, in the army. Who the soldier really obey. As we said, there are a lot of divide within the army. So it will be a risk to try to punish a group, since this is really a large group. As you say, more than 8,000 soldiers, it will be very difficult to get them punished.
Okay.
I think what we need is really to find sustainable measure to unify the army and to create a real professional army.
Okay, and that's a good point,
yes.
and I'm gonna sort of expand on that in just a minute. But let me just ask Nyaka, do you believe that nobody will really be punished? The defense minister was just paying lip service, maybe because people were injured and a few people killed.
Yes.
Yes, they lost face in this crisis. And like Bree said, I don't know how they're going to try and punish them, because if they do so, those soldiers, they still have their weapons. And let me quickly share some information with you. During the mutiny, the soldiers, they went, it is believed that they discovered a weapons cache in the house of the director of protocol of Soro-Guillaume, the Speaker of the House, who is believed to be behind the mutiny. And then if the soldiers, if they feel that they're threatened, I believe that they're going to react and retaliate, and then this can certainly exacerbate the crisis. So I think that the Minister of Defense is paying lip service when he said that he's going to punish some people.
Arsene Brice, are we seeing maybe parallels with the situation in 2011 when Laurent Gbagbo was holding on to power, Ouattara had won the election? Because, we have Nyaka talking about the speaker and the army loyal to him, and the other part of the army loyal to Alassane Ouattara. Are we going to be seeing the country divided into two camps here, similar to what happened in 2011?
No, I don't think that we'll see such a great divide. However, though there is still though the army is still polarized, but the level of polarization is a little bit different than what we witnessed in 2011. So what I think that what we need is really to bring the army different factions together and throw a real reform so that we have one army. But I think that the army will still polarize with different factions. There is a way to manage that.
Okay, and how do you manage that? In 20 seconds, tell me how do you manage that and unify the army, and then I'll ask Dr. Nyaka in 20 seconds how he would unify the army and manage that. Go ahead, Arsene Brice, tell me how you would do it.
Hello? Yes. As you, there is a huge reform with the army, about the army that have been drafted by the UN mission with the Ivorian authorities. And they took some part of those who fought during the war and the regular army together. They went for training. There are many things that have been planned to unify the army, to make a kind of, to create a new army. And this has been scheduled until 2020.
Okay, so you're hoping that UN-sponsored plan works out. Dr. Nyaka Lagoke, final word to you in 20 seconds, please. How do you unify that army and bring them together and make sure they're not splintered into all these factions?
No, it's to be honest, it's very difficult to modernize an army with a bunch of mercenaries and uneducated soldiers. So I believe that, and also the army is a very tribalistic army composed of, most of them come from the northern part of the country, the ethnic origin of Mr. Ouattara or Mr. Soro and all those people. So the army is not a Republican army. It's not an army that represents all nationalities in the country. And now Mr. Ouattara failed the opportunity. And I believe that hopefully hopefully there may be like a popular uprising, so that people can create a framework, to rebuild the country, and in that context, then we can talk about a new army, a modern army that will be the reflection of a true democratic Ivory Coast.
Okay, unpredictable times in Cote d'Ivoire. Gentlemen, it's been good to talk to both of you, Nyaka Lagoke and Asin Brice Bado. Thank you very much.